The retirement party was supposed to be a celebration. 35 years of service, countless late nights, and a life spent turning responsibility into a routine. The living room was decorated with balloons and a simple banner that read, "Happy Retirement." Papa Mr. Sharma sat in the center, wearing a shirt he'd ironed himself that morning. His hair was whiter, his hands rougher, but his eyes still held their usual honesty. Relatives laughed and neighbors congratulated him. He smiled politely, but his gaze kept drifting to his sons Amit and Rakesh, who were huddled in a corner. Their voices were low, but sharp. At first, it sounded like a normal chat. Then the tone shifted. "So how much did he actually get?" Amit whispered. "Gratuity, PF, pension, everything," Rakesh replied. "Don't forget the house papers," Amit added. His father heard them, but pretended not to. Laughter filled the room as the sons' voices grew harder. "If we don't divide it properly now, there'll be problems later," Amit insisted. "I deserve more," Rakesh snapped back. "I'm the one who stayed here." Mr. Sharma's fingers tightened on the armrest, a tiny movement no one noticed. Amit glanced over at him. "Papa won't need much anyway. His pension is enough for him." Enough, the word echoed in his mind. He remembered nights when enough meant half a meal so his sons could eat their fill, when enough meant walking to work to save bus fare for their school fees. The argument got uglier. "You already took money for your business," Rakesh accused, "and you took the bike." Amit shot back. A relative tried to intervene. "Today is not the day for this." But Amit cut him off. "It's exactly the day. This is the right time to settle things." Slowly, Mr. Sharma stood up. No one paid him any mind. He looked around the room, at the walls he'd painted, at the clock he'd bought with his first salary, at the sons whose school uniforms he'd washed with tired hands. He adjusted his glasses. There was no anger, just a quiet heaviness. He walked towards the door. Someone probably thought he was going to the washroom or needed some air. No one stopped him. Outside, the evening breeze was cool. He sat down on the steps, his knees feeling weak. Inside, the celebration continued. Cake was cut, photos were taken. The father sat alone. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded envelope, his retirement benefits, the sum of his entire life. He hadn't even opened it. He didn't need to. He had just learned a lesson far more expensive than any amount of money. A few minutes later, his wife noticed he was gone. "Where is Papa?" she asked. An uneasy silence fell over the room. The sons looked around, suddenly concerned. They found him outside, sitting quietly, looking up at the sky. "Ma said, 'You disappeared,'" Amit said, trying to sound casual. "Come inside, we cut the cake." The father smiled faintly. "I'm not hungry," he said. Rakesh hesitated. "Are you okay?" The father looked at his sons, really looked at them. "I retire today," he said softly, "from my job." They nodded, and maybe, he continued, from being useful. "No," Papa Amit started, but his father raised a hand. "I heard you," he said. "Don't worry, you didn't say anything wrong. You worked hard. You deserve comfort, security. You're just planning." He took a deep breath. "I just didn't know that my retirement would begin with my worth being calculated." The silence was crushing. "I never saved money thinking about who would get how much," the father said, his voice steady. "I saved so you would never have to count and calculate like I did. I will keep what I need," he said. "The rest, you can divide." Rakesh's eyes filled with tears. "Papa, that's not what we meant." The father smiled gently. "That's the problem, son. Meaning doesn't matter. Words do." He stood up slowly. "I'm going to the temple." You continue celebrating that night. The house felt different. Not broken, just hollow. The sons lay awake, realizing something far too late. A father doesn't walk away when he's angry. He walks away when he understands that the role he lived for has quietly ended not with gratitude, but with calculation. And that realization retires a man from far more than just his job. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe.